A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary. You're live on my YouTube channel, arunfoot. It is October the 7th, 2025. It's a Tuesday, and it is another Indian football discussion on this channel. Given the title of today's show, what is the future? Looking, of course, at the senior men's national team, India under 17, women's, the AIFF, what happened today in the meeting and other things. And it will be very, very interesting to see how we move ahead. And I hope we can once more discuss all those things on Indian football and take the infos that we have, the insights that we have on what's all happening, what's not happening forward, because this month, as I've said a few times, is very, very crucial in regard to the future of Indian football, in regard to the short, the mid-term future of Indian football. And very interesting to see what all happens or what all does not happen in Indian football, because these are decisive days in regard to what is going to happen and what is not going to happen. And therefore, let's speak about those things. Let's speak about other things as well. And at the start of the video, some of you might be watching it later on. If you like what you hear, if you see, please do leave a like behind, share it with other people, and subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on that 3,000 mark. We've now been spinning around it over the last 2-3 days, going up one, going down. We're now at the moment at 2,997, so 3 to go. It seems like the 2,998 is the benchmark. So therefore, help me to reach that level. And as always, thank you for following my channel and being part of these conversations today as well. And sorry, let me start with what Renil has posted a little earlier on. Now, what's the severity of fraud done by Malaysia? Do you think they getting expelled from qualifiers, and what's the punishment generally they get? And do you think it's a massive shame for them? What has happened with Malaysia is that Malaysia is something which is very embarrassing in my opinion. What has happened to Malaysia? That they have 7 players whose birthplace of their grandparents were changed to make them eligible to play for Malaysia. So they put them in one of those many Malaysian islands rather than their birthplaces, the Netherlands, Spain, Argentina. So therefore, that is something which has been there, and therefore, it's a weird one, and for me, it is something which I don't really understand, because to me, again, yes, you can be in a situation where you are trying to naturalize players, but you're not following the rules and regulations. You're trying to create a Malaysian heritage which doesn't exist. And I don't know, didn't someone think that if you're gonna fake this, at some stage someone will do a little bit of digging and find out where these players are from? I don't know. It's to me, it was very bizarre what the federation has done, and therefore it is not understandable, to say the least. What they've done. I'm just trying to look for the article where it was mentioned. 1 second. Interesting is what the AFC has come out now with a statement saying that the AFC confirms that Malaysia will not be allowed to use 7 suspended players in the 2027 Asian Cup qualifiers. AFC stated that any related action will only be implemented after all legal proceedings completed, but no later than March 31st, 2026. So that is by the end of the qualifiers. So therefore, that is that. And the Football Association of Malaysia has put in an official appeal because the Football Association of Malaysia strongly rejected FIFA's findings, stating that the description presented in this decision is inaccurate and misleading. According to FAM, the issue stemmed from an administrative error, wrong submission when a staff member mistakenly uploaded documents provided by agents instead of the official ones issued by the National Registration Department, or NRD. So the issue in this whole matter is that there are 7 players where born in Spain, and then they said the grandmother born in Malacca or Penang, Argentina, Brazil, Spain, Netherlands. So therefore, and again, very interesting to see how that case gets solved. Reynolds says, Arunda, I think India has a crying mentality. For example, we cry about Qatar's goal in World Cup qualifiers, as we had just to take points from Afghanistan and Kuwait games. If we had done it, we would have qualified easily to next round. Another thing is that ours is victim mentality. Last day I saw a video of a young Malu boy playing good football. The first comment I saw was, sad that he is born in India. We always try to play victims everywhere, and I hate it. Rather than showing victim mentality, people should work and do things that's going to improve the system. There are numerous examples. Until we improve our mentality altogether, understanding of the game by local fans, I don't think we'll ever improve. So, that's a very good, assessment of things, which I feel I've experienced many times over the years when we want to talk about Indian football or India says. To me, we need to change that. And Angry Bird adds, obviously we have to come out of the victim's mentality, but this does not mean we will give leverage to some kind of biasness, just like how Qatar gets. And that is exactly where the victimhood already starts, because Qatar doesn't get a bias. It's just that the referees are making mistakes left, right, and center. And where were our fans when we FC Goa, when the Aziz handball was not seen against Al Seeb? Where were the fans when in the 96th minute Thailand didn't get a penalty against India women's? Yeah, sadly, that's the reality, and we don't want to talk about it. That's a real problem. Hi Karam, number of foreigners allowed in Super Cup, nothing clear. Karam, I think we need to talk if the is the Super Cup happening? I think with the whole process of the tender still not clear, and there's no information at the moment out of what happened today in the meetings. I've been checking sources, people have been asking people, but there is no information available whatsoever on what transpired out of that AIFF meeting, which would be interesting to understand where we stand, what is all happening. So therefore, I'm still not sure where we stand at this moment in time with all that's happening. So therefore, it is a minimum of 4, maximum of all 6, but it's going to be something of that sort. I don't know if all teams will be playing 6 foreigners, have 6 foreigners on the books. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Today, Dimi threw a fan's phone just because they were protesting as those players with their camera on, says Angry Birds. Yeah, I saw that video, and I think it's good to see the fans protest. Again, difficult. I see that here in Germany, and I'm also very careful with that when fans and players interact, because there are 2 worlds which are literally colliding. They're not on the same page. Whatever people are going to tell me, I think the players don't understand the fans don't understand the players, because those are 2 worlds that are colliding. And therefore, the fan, or rather not the fan, I feel also, again, we were talking about India and its victimhood mentality. Another mentality in India is to take pictures and put the phone into your face whenever you don't want it to. So yeah, let's wait and see. So your views on Punjab FC new signings, Danny Ramirez, Samir Zalkovic, and Effiong Nunguzi. Karam, interesting CVs, especially those, of course, of Danny Ramirez and Zalkovic. Danny Ramirez, experienced person. experienced player, comes from a good school of football, and yeah, that's the thing that you wanna we'll have to wait and see how they settle in, because last season the problem of Punjab FC was that the foreigners sort of never could settle in. There were injuries, this, that, and everything, and it was Luka Machin who very often carried the team. Will there be any change in the result between Vietnam versus Malaysia? Hannibal, it depends on what decision the AFC comes to, because Malaysia is saying that the players were or are eligible. So again, I can't check. To me, it looked like a clear-cut case, but now with Malaysia sort of saying that they have proof that the players were eligible, that the players were eligible to play for them. I honestly don't know that, so therefore we'll have to wait and see what comes out of that. So therefore there is a whole investigation which will take place in the background in the next 6 months. Zorawa says, though in my opinion, players are scapegoats, the real culprit is the management. Zorawa, 100% the management is at fault at this. Why did it have to come to this? Yeah, let's see. Is it so difficult nowadays that cowards get offended on calling them cowards? Mohnbagan players should realize that fast. That is what it is. Yeah. Again, are you, as Zorawa said, pointing it to the players, if decision is made by the management, and the management says we're traveling to Iran, and what would have happened? I don't know. And then, as Zorawa says, also pathetic behavior from Petratos. Yeah, Petratos was, if you look at the footage, yeah, to me it looked like Cummings wanted to interact. Petratos was not wanting to get into a conversation, wasn't interested. I give Cummings that credit a little bit, but yeah. They aren't scapegoats either. The players are very much involved in his mockery. Again, that's the point. How much do we really know what's going on at Mohnbagan Supergiant or at Mohnbagan Athletic Club? I don't think you, I, or anyone knows really what I want. My simple question would be, looking at this whole situation, is what is the real reason for not traveling to Iran? Right? Don't give me the security BS. Right? To me, that the security part is not the real reason. What is the real reason for not traveling to Iran? I want to know that. Dada, it's not only us. Ask Jordan, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Every single one of them knows about the Qatar tour. No problem. Angry Birds, don't get me started on this BS. Come on. How many matches have they won against other teams because of mistakes from referees? Yeah, because then we have a problem, right, with fans. I have a problem with fans. We're not willing to accept, right, that sometimes you have luck on your side and sometimes you don't. If you want to watch that under-23 match, Paramveer goes off in the first half with the second card. How many times did he elbow the other players? Right? We want to get into that. Let's get into that discussion about we need to look at ourselves. We don't need to look at anybody else in the world. We are that bad at the moment, right? That maybe even saying, listen, let's stop playing international football for 2 years might be the best thing to happen to us, right? And that guy is now part of the senior national team. Welcome to the world of Indian football. And that is being celebrated by Indian football fans. Sorry, that shows me the level of ignorance. And I get annoyed, I get angry because of this, right? India is 17 West China tomorrow, hope to see a positive result, even if we can't see the match. Yeah, Swanata, let's hope. And what about Indian players? Why were they unwilling to go to Iran? The management is the real culprit, including Super Giants. So now the point is, if I as a club tell you are traveling, right? You are traveling. If I tell you, if you're not traveling, I'm taking a little bit of your money away. All of them will travel. Security fears, forget it. There might be one or the other who say, you know what, I will not travel. But if you put that financial burden on them and say, listen, you need to travel, then, that's the thing. Jamie, Dimi, and Jason were absolute clueless when their arguments were countered by fans. No, Hannibal, they were not. Who, again, did watch the interaction, guys? Were they clueless? I thought Cummings did well. You see that Petratos doesn't want to get into the conversation. That is clearly visible. He was not interested to have a conversation. Cummings tried to interact and talk to the fans. But what I see is both sides couldn't understand each other. There's a lack of understanding of English. He's speaking his Scottish English, and they're speaking their Indian English. I see that the communication is not going proper. That is your real problem. But hey, who's going to talk about it? Because one realizes, look at the body language, look at the expression on the faces of the players. For that, I've worked with teams, I've run with teams. You see, Petratos not interested. Cummings is trying, and McLaren is somewhere in between. Right? That is what I saw. Can this squad beat Singapore? Oh, no, theoretically, yes. I would hope so. Then the real action comes. India or Singapore, just less than 48 hours to go. AIFF consequential finals on Sunday, crucial times this week, and next week will decide our future. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens, because at the moment, I don't see that the constitution is going to get passed. Let's wait and see what happens. Angry Bird says, Rao, exactly, the Indian guys have no ground to put any excuse out in front of the fans. The management should not escape either. I think the management should be asked. You should ask Vinay Chopra as a Mohun Bagan fan. You need to ask Devashish Dotto as the president of Mohun Bagan Athletic Club. You need to ask Srinjoy Bose as the secretary of Mohun Bagan Athletic Club. Especially those three need to answer. Before you go to a Mr. Goenka, who's not involved in the day-to-day running of these things, these three gentlemen are the first ones you should ask. How Qatar manages to get African footballers to play for them despite tough FIFA regulations. They won't. They come in early enough, they fulfill the naturalized criteria, and then they play for Qatar. Most of I think they're mainly Senegalese, if I'm not wrong, coming at a young age, and they're also players, kids born in Qatar, like that Indian origin boy. So that's how they do it. So my view on Dimi incident might be a little different from the others, because I think fans should protest against the management rather than putting phones into players' faces. Karam, I totally agree. And this thing about, I have a right, very very difficult, thing to think about, and to me is, so therefore, I always say in these kind of things, you have to respect the other side has to respect you. And in these kind of instances, I don't know if there is mutual respect, because forget Mohun Bagan Supergiant, forget Indian football, take it even to the top level. In today's football, the players live in a very isolated world, right? And a lot of fans around the world think they have a right on their respective clubs to whatever, right? And voice your grievances. Try and have a conversation. But both sides need to respect each other. And that respect is not there between the fans, the players, the management, vice versa. That to me is the biggest problem if I want to bring all these sides together. That is the biggest problem I feel if I look at the things around a club like Mohun Bagan Supergiant and what is happening at the moment. I've always said over the last 2-3 years, it is, as long as it's successful, nobody will ask questions, right? Remove 80K, fans live in La La Land that they still think that it's their reason, so therefore, very difficult to say. More Mohun Bagan fan clubs will get involved in protests. Today's protest was just done by one. Joravar, I understood that 2 fan groups got together But I think that the dissent factor amongst Mohun Bagan fans and fan groups is there. And it will. I think it'll rather grow than it'll get less. And I think they need to ask the questions. But again, they need to ask the right questions, the right people. The conversation that was being had between the fans and between Cummings and McLaren especially, not at the right level. Because you then have to challenge. Again, nobody challenged because Cummings said again and again, hey, listen, there's a warning for us not to travel to Iran. That's true. But Brits and Australians have been traveling there even for World Cup qualifiers and other things. So if the home team is offering you the guarantee that nothing will happen to you, there is no reason not to travel. It was not last year where I can still say, listen, there's a small getaway because rockets were flying, but not at the time when Mohun Bagan was supposed to travel. So therefore, get to the right points, hit the club at the right points. The fans need to do that. I talked to Malaysian fans. They're saying that they already knew something like this is happening. Their federation had no proof that these players are of Malaysian descent. However, let's see what happens. To me, even if, in today's world where anyone can cross-check something or the other, right? It's a little bit of research, to me, would be if they've really done it this way, it is sheer stupidity. It is sheer stupidity. But you never know, because it cannot be only the Football Association of Malaysia. Then there needs to be some government involvement as well to coordinate this whole thing. Having lived my whole life outside India, I can tell you nobody appreciated it. Yeah, Karam, it's an embarrassment. Everything is in the hands of management, not the players. Exactly. It's in the hands of the management. And one thing which I haven't heard is also the coach, right? The coach should be a very, very strong voice in such a matter. And to me, the coach is completely silent. That is always bad, right? I would say 2-3 years FIFA ban would be beneficial for Indian football in the long run. Zoravar, you know what? I fear that's also, that's. We are at the moment in a situation. If I look at the situation in and around the AIFF, if I look at the situation around the ISL, if I look at even again the situation around Mohun Bagan, it can't go on like this. Can a foreigner who played in ISL for 5-6 years be able to play for India by FIFA standards? FIFA standards, yes. Indian standards, no. Foreigners don't get Indian passports. We've had in the 80s, Chima Okeri wanted an Indian passport, right? He's married to an Indian woman. Barreto, Barreto was interested. Others, yeah. So, yeah, we don't give them. With Malaysia facing ban, I guess Indonesia too will become wary of now regarding getting foreigners playing for country. Zoravar, I think with Indonesia, it's a little easier because Indonesia used to be Dutch Indochina, So for me, I don't think Indonesia is facing that same problem. Indonesia, the bloodlines are clearly proven so far, but again, all of them can be checked. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Interesting fact by KL now, India lost to Singapore in 84 Asian Games, Singapore to win Asian Cup, and still the strong side in ASEAN are success. Yeah, but India has never lost to Singapore in an official game, no? So Asian Games, you're saying 84, right? Let me just check in the old database. Let me see. That I can find out for you. That is something which we have. Because just checking. Asian Cup. Yeah, India lost to Asian Cup 0-2 to Singapore. Yeah. in Singapore. That was a loss that India had to Singapore. And India qualified by beating Pakistan, Malaysia, North Yemen, and losing to South Korea. So yeah, so we did lose in the Asian Cup at the time. Hi Rushabh, welcome back. Also, other countries who are trying to cheat using foreigners in national team and nothing thrice before getting first. I don't think, Zorava, there are two things. There is one is naturalization. Naturalization windows are there, right? We've even had this with allegations in South America. I think it was Bolivia, Ecuador, and others. Is he really from here or is he from there? And with some Colombians here and there playing for other nations, that is one thing. But if you have anyone of origin, that's a different discussion. So therefore, this is, you're trying to create a timeline of your family tree and saying, hey, listen, my grandfather or my grandmother was born on the islands of Malaysia, which is not the fact, right? So therefore, that is a different discussion. Arunda, I'm not getting excited with seeing the work of Arunda, I'm not getting excited with seeing the work of Rans Foundation, Young Champs, and Mizoram Football Association doing their. Are you hopeful, or is it long-term project? It's a long-term project, right? The results will not come, and yeah. Is there any Q&A video? Actually, I want to know more about you, sir, and your association with Indian football. Devumit, there is on my arunfoot.com sort of about me page, which gives you a little bit more of information about things that I've done over the years. Yeah, Q&A video, maybe I should actually be doing something like that. I think clubs should take up challenge of going to Iran, going to a top elite country in Asia and playing there will improve the confidence of our players. If I was a player, I would love to go to Iran. Then, yeah, but we're not even getting into the football discussion, right? Because we are sticking to security. We're talking about politics. We're talking about other things. That's the reasoning that Mohun Bagan Supergiant are using at this moment in time. And that is, to me, the main problem in this whole discussion. And therefore, we are stuck in that discussion, and we're not getting to the point of saying, hey, guys, why didn't you travel, right? So therefore, that's a big problem. And I don't know if we're going to be able to sort that out in the short term. Right, more than 28 minutes. Quick reminder, as always, if you are liking the conversation, you can ask your questions, your queries, and try to answer them. 7 likes so far. Yesterday we're at 36. I think we can do better. Share it with other people so that other people can join our conversations. And of course, if you're listening, you like the conversation, do subscribe to the channel. Again, 3 to go to reach the 3,000 mark. So do help me reach that milestone. It's a small milestone maybe for others, but for me, it is something. We're trying to grow this community of people where we have honest and open conversations on Indian football. I give you my opinions about how I see and observe things. And do watch the shorter videos, like them, hype them, get more people involved. And as always, thank you for that. Did something early today on the AIFF Shield. Do watch that, and about the Indian national team, a few things as well over the last few days. And as always, thank you guys for your support. Yeah, really blaming the player is not good. The Mohammed Supergiant fans should more pressure the management. Also said it's a logical point that players deserve it. Supergiant management may deserve it. They should be focused. Yeah, but the players also need to answer the questions, right? So therefore, I don't think the interaction is a problem. I think what was the conversation to me was the problem between the players and the fans, I think the best thing a club or player can do is not interact directly with the fans when things are going bad. Better make official clear statements. Yeah, Babalu's animation, I think that is, and the point is, how do you interact? Because if you interact openly with the fans in some sort of form or way, I always fear it will backfire. I always fear it will backfire because not always things will be running good. As long as things are running fine, running good, all is fine. When things don't run good, don't run fine, then the questions start being asked and questions being raised, because then everyone's saying like, hey, why is this not working? Why is that not working? Why this didn't happen? Why that didn't happen? And then in such situations as now, it is backfiring. I mean, Mohun Bagan is still nicely posting social media photos and videos of the players training, right? And that is like, for what are you training for, right? You didn't go to Iran, right? So, yeah, what should be the ideal connection between fans and players? Like, do you think this real meeting of between players and ultras essential for games grow in the country? No, I don't think so. And again, fans will hate me for saying that. Um, the problem is, what am I trying to achieve? A meet and greet, an understanding, you know, and do the players? My question in this situation is: do the players really know why they didn't travel, or is it just that because the word scapegoat was used today, right? So the interaction level needs to be that. And if I don't want to interact, then I just shield them and say, guys, don't do it. For the moment, quiet. And again, Jason Cummings then going on South Korea on a holiday, posting those pictures. Oh, I would have gone crazy. I would have said, my friend, go on holiday where you want to, but just keep the pictures for the moment for yourself. I know that helps you for social media, but it's not, Arunachal Super League started, but is not focusing on grassroots. Shanlata, they've done some grassroots stuff, but again, the Super Leagues are at the moment, an interesting thing. AIFF to allow PIOCI players in the 25-26 Youth League, a maximum of 2 overseas players of India origin to be allowed to register 12-23 for the under 18 Youth League. Hannibal, we've had this in the past. I don't know, they're selling it maybe as something new, but this has been there in the past. And we've had especially the Reliance Foundation, Young Champs, or even Mumbai City had some players of origin who played, I think, also. Let's wait and see. Messi coming and all fans are just, Messi coming. Why don't they understand this is waste of money? Just bring Messi for tour and friendly. What's India benefit? Only entertainment. Pranata, this is money which wouldn't have come to Indian football. I've said this in the last few days multiple times. This is money which is not intended for Indian football or supposed to come to Indian football, and therefore, it has no value or traction in regard to Indian football. Isn't RFTL also ending? Bablu's animation, I'm not sure if grassroots will continue or will stop. A ban is going to hurt us even worse. We need to stick around somehow and do our job. Angry Birds, I think we're in a situation where I think a ban might be better than things continuing the way they are at the moment. So I think it can't continue like this. We are in complete mess. The Supreme Court has created an extra level of mess. I mean, the AIFF has created a mess. The Supreme Court has created an extra level of mess, and we need to get out of it. And that's the difficulty. After seeing the technical qualities of players in the recent SAF U17 Championship, my belief of a 2-3 year last 2-3 years became firm. As a rubber, we're not producing talent at the moment. That's a big huge problem. I would say Viana carries much weight of Indian football on his shoulders rather than other coaches, according to me. Yeah, because he works with the younger age group, right? So therefore, you would think Viviano has to work more, has to get results out of these boys, which I feel is not easy. Let's see what he can do. We need to qualify for U17 World Cup as soon as possible. Angry Bird sounds nice, but do you see the talent that we currently have? So I want to know, how many years covering global football and football, how many players have you met, estimate, and have you ever gone to Ballon d'Or or wish? Football I've covered now 27 and a half years. Yeah. And met lots of players. I don't know. I've worked with players also, right? So I know. And don't know. Wouldn't be able to give you a number. And Ballon d'Or, I've had invitations. I even voted in the past on the Ballon d'Or. But Ballon d'Or or FIFA football awards, surely one day maybe to visit. Why not? Zoraba says, as an answer to Angry Birds, I saw the matches of a recent SAV under-17 championship and would say that India won't qualify for FIFA U7 World Cup in the next 2 decades. Ooh, Zoraba, that's hard. I know, but hope is what drives me on. I think Angry Birds, hope is what drives us on. All, no? Existence of ISL was something that led a lot of kids to take up football as a career. Getting banned will cause our players' pool to shrink, and we'll be back where we were 10 or 15 years ago. Babalu's animation, yeah, yes and no, because I think if we get banned, I think we move back 15, 20 years, maybe even 30, when the I League started, NFL started in 1996, right? So 29 years exactly. My point at the moment is we are in a situation with the involvement of the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court, how do we get out of it? And the point is, I would change the answer of your, or change the premise of your answer. Sorry, let me put it this way. I think that in certain cities or regions or states where you would have not looked at football, you look at football. If you look at cities like Maharashtra, places like Bangalore, football is now taken as a potential career, which in the past nobody would have considered. So therefore, there are certain changes in those kind of things. 3,500 rupees is the price, ticket price for Messi and YBK. Wow, that's interesting. Hey Rudro, welcome back. So what will we talk of Indian football if they're banned? There will be little for conversation. Ranata, yeah, who knows? Again, I will most probably have to shift to European football and cover, I don't know, Champions League maybe, and others, and look at the World Cup. But we are in the situation we are in. So therefore, for us at the moment, whatever comes will come. And to me, I honestly don't know how we're going to get out of this at the moment. At the moment, my concern is looking at the problems that we're facing. It is so existential that we need a reboot, and the reboot seems to not be happening internally. The Supreme Court has rather harmed than helped, and the new constitution is a problem in itself. And I will that's the way it is at the moment, and I don't know if how we can change it, but at the moment it is the way it is, and it is very complicated and complex, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it, right? So for me, still don't know. And it's very complicated, to say the least. What a chance of us getting the ban. Saksham, every day that there is no decision, we're getting closer to the ban, right? So therefore, for me, we are in a very, very tricky scenario at the moment. It's going to affect and destroy a wonderful year of women football and their future. Saksham, again, the overall Indian football system is in such a state that you see that the AIFF has not done what they said they would do. So the good example is now, with the realities that we faced, that the AIFF has not done what it said it would do, and we're stuck now in a situation. It's like, okay, guys, and yeah. No, I don't agree with Baba's animation. Kids took football as career even before I said. Juraba, I agree. That's what I said. I think in certain regions, it was there, and yeah. Most famous footballer you met and most expensive autograph shirt of player. Most famous, I don't know. Would it be Franz Beckenbauer? Would it be Schweinsteiger? Would it be Lahm? Would it be, I don't know, would it be Pelé? One of those guys most probably would be on top of my list. An expensive autograph. I'm not that much into autographs. Autographs would be 2008 Bayern Munich, most probably after the Kolkata trip from the whole team, would be with Oli Khan and Matt van Bommel and others on the shirt signing. Yeah. Players like Sunil Chhetri and Vijan didn't need an ISL to inspire them. However, I'm Vijan to bring into discussion. I'm Vijan didn't become one of the footballer. Football found him, and Sunil Chhetri also, again, the reluctant footballer, right? What Sunil turned into in the last 15 years is a great story. You know, it's actually worth a Netflix series in the future, surely, once he retires. Mohun Bagan fans protested today outside Yuvarthi Kiranga. Players came for training. Yes, Raj, and unlike in normal instances, they were not allowed close to the two practice grounds. They were kept away by security and by police, which I found, yeah, I find that too much. I think if you, as a club, should be allowing your fans to voice their displeasure and protest, and you have to live with it. And I find it very poor that you're not allowed close to the ground again. Yeah. I Ochut saw that there have been face-to-face arguments between Mohun Supergiant fans and foreigners. Should have been avoided. Maybe a press conference would have solved the purpose. Ochut, no, you know, and I look at, for example, there was the AIFF Shield press conference today, right? And Mohun Bagan are one of the teams participating. East Bengal also didn't see the attendance of Oscar Bruzon, but had Binu George in there. And on the other side, what we saw was that Mohun Bagan didn't even attend. Because if Mohun Bagan, whoever would have attended in the name of Mohun Bagan Super Giants as a club official or as a coach, the questions would have been around, hey guys, why weren't you why didn't you travel to Iran, right? And I don't think they want to do so therefore I don't think, again, and do they have answers to it? I would love to, again, is there actually factually a reason for Mohun Supergiant not to go? Is it simply that they are scared of losing heavily in Iran? Is that the reason? Is there something else which is linked to something, I don't know, to the company of RPSG? Is there something, I don't know, is there a I don't have an answer. Yesterday itself, the Chief Justice of India had shoe hurled at him by another judge for insulting Lord Vishnu. Says Rava, yeah, that's the case of the judiciary. Cristiano or Messi, and why? Raj, for me, Lionel Messi. I've always liked Lionel Messi, and he's been, I would say in that generation, the player that I would prefer, if you ask me. Yeah, more than Cristiano Ronaldo, but again, two exceptional footballers of this generation, right? Was researching image rights and stuff like royalties from games like AFC or eFootball. Do Indian players get any kind of money, or does it go directly into pockets of players' union if they get any? Mushraf, good question. There's normally some sort of fee that goes, I don't know if it is sold bulk in regard to the league. So the question is, does it go by the league? Does it go by the federation? So therefore, I actually wouldn't know how it is sorted in Indian football. Sorry, wouldn't know that. Raj says also saw some images of Cummings and McLaren talking with fans who are protesting. Yes, Raj, I've seen the videos. Jason Cummings actually proactively tried to interact with the fans, have a conversation, and try to, put some, try to explain to them why they didn't travel. Again, the fans were talking about legacy, yeah, it's again, I felt that they were talking past each other. They were not talking with each other, so yeah, that's it. Fans also demanded return of original Mohun Bagan Athletic Club, not Super Giants. Raj, and this is something where I say, you know what, yeah, can be demanded, but again, there is a corporate involved in this, and You're happy that you're not called Mohun Bagan Super Goenka, so I don't know what, whatever. Saw a video a few days back of Debashish Dutta of Mohun Bagan saying that there is war going on in Iran, so Mohun Masood denied the travel. I think you're talking about Srinjoy Bose rather than Debashish Dutta. And again, my Iranian friends also jokingly asked me, it's like, hey, where's the war? And yeah, Mohun Bagan has made complete fools of Indians and Indian football and all of us. Mohun Bagan has become a national embarrassment. That's the reality, and very, very difficult to sort of get out of that. And it is the way it is, and the less we talk about it, the better it is, because it is just, in my opinion, it's just very, very shameful to see what has happened. And that's something. This trying to justify something which is not justifiable. This is something which we've seen now multiple times in Indian football at different levels and different means and ways. And I find that as part of our problem in Indian football, where we're not getting the questions and answers that I feel are right, and therefore we're stuck in our world with our problems. And I don't know. I honestly don't know if and how we can sort those and move on, because we are in a very precarious situation, right? Yeah. But who's going to invest if RPSG leaves? Have fans realize this? No, they haven't, Raj. And that's the problem, because they think legacy and everything is worth everything. Legacy is worth nothing. It is finance. If I like it, you like it, we like it. Around the world in sports, finance, and it's fans don't realize. Fans, and I've said this, right? It is, for fans, it is easy to think and say, oh, do this, do that. No, if you're managing, if you're involved in these kind of things, you have to think much more complex, much more complicated things. But again, are these people who are running these entities capable of thinking that way and making the right decision? That's the other problem I have. We've got too many dead ducks sitting over there who think they understand football and run football, and they're unable to do that, and therefore we're stuck where we're stuck. And that's a huge problem in football, right? And that's the problem. So yeah, that's where we are. Australians have problems, then why again and again signing them? Raj, Australia doesn't have a problem to play Iran, right? So why do Australian players of Mohun Bagan have a problem? This is just a front. It's just a front to say, you know what, we were not traveling. Very simple. That's a problem, and we're stuck again on this Mohun Bagan front, and we're not moving any forward, which is a problem. It was there, it is there, it will be there, and therefore that's the reality of where we are. So therefore, that makes no sense at all. I talked with a Mohun Bagan fan, asked him same question. He said they will crowdfund Mohun Bagan, but still it's better than facing international embarrassment like this. So Ravar, it's so naive to say we will crowdfund. Okay, so Mohun Bagan fans will now gather, I don't know, 50 crores, 70 crores, 100 crores to fund their club, right? How well did the crowdfunding of East Bengal work? I'm just asking, right? Didn't East Bengal, was it 2-3 years ago, where they crowdfunded? How much did East Bengal get together on that crowdfunding? It sounds so easy, and as again, this is lack of knowledge and understanding of how to run a club, how to run that entity, how to build the whole thing, and then at professional level play. Sorry, that's the reality of things. And therefore, if we don't want to wake up to reality, and if we don't want to wake up what needs to be done, Indian football will not move forward, because the crowdfunding club projects at some stage always collapse. Because you might even achieve something in year 1, maybe even year 2, but year 3, year 4, year 5, the whole thing collapses. Any update on today's meeting and KPMG presentation? Surya Kiran, I have heard nothing. Nobody. Normally something or the other comes out, even if it's not in the public domain. Today, nothing has come out at all. It's like as if there's a blanket understanding. Nobody's talking, and someone in there, yeah, it is the way it is. So I've even not even seen any speculative stuff from Marcus and from Ashish Negi, who normally have good insights, but even they haven't posted anything of sorts. I'm just checking again if there is anything that can be. Let's see, AIFF. No, the AIFF has not posted anything. Let's see if Marcus has posted something. Marcus has not posted anything since last night, so which is also rare for his standards, right? He's just reposted some stuff, and even Ashish has, not posted anything since yesterday. So it's very weird, unusual to say the least. But it's the way it is, and at the moment it looks like we'll have to wait and see when any information comes out. I sadly have not heard anything. Right, quick reminder to those of you who are watching or maybe watching it later on as a deferred live, please leave a like behind. 11 likes so far, at 36 yesterday. So help it, share with other people, let them be part of our conversations, let them know what we talk about here on this channel. And if you're new, you haven't, please do subscribe. We're at 2,998. So 2 more to get to the 3K mark, and watch the short videos that I try and do on a regular basis. Did something earlier today on the AIFF Shield. Again, East Bengal, Namdar, Eastern Deccan in one group, Mohun Bagan, Gokul, Kerala, United Sports in the other. Kicks off tomorrow with East Bengal taking on Namdari. So therefore, let's see what happens in that as well. Crowdfunding looks good on paper, but in reality looks difficult. Raj, impossible. Especially in the Indian context, because fans will tell you a lot. I mean, if people are not willing to spend 19 rupees or 25 rupees on watching stuff on a streaming platform, okay, are they going to give you 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 rupees as part of a crowdfunding platform? To give 100 rupees will not be enough. So therefore, this whole crowdfunding idea sounds nice, but not working. Also, some Mohun Bagan fans say that Mamata will get sponsor for them, as she won't let any of the 3 Bengal giants playing in lower divisions. However, if that's the case, how did she help with Mohammedan Sporting? Mohammedan Sporting has been trying to get a meeting with Mamata Banerjee for the last 3 months. Yeah, 4 months. Sorry, 4 months. Yeah, we're already in October. Mamata Banerjee has not helped Mohammedan Sporting, and I thought Mohammedan Sporting should be important for her voter base, right? So, because there is no one left in Bengal who can fund you, right? All the potential candidates are out of the state, so therefore, I don't see that happening. When will be the tender, Raj? Supposedly it was supposed to be finalized today and then come out tomorrow or the after. My thing is that supposedly the timeline is 15th of October. I don't know how that can be kept, right? And it's if I'm looking 15 this, Super Cup 25th, I don't know how this works, Hey Ishan, I'm doing good. How are you? Welcome back. The 23-player squad had a few surprises for me, honestly. No Thapa and Apuya will be a box-to-box midfielder. Ishan, there are a lot of questions to be asked. Apuya not there, Thapa not there. Abhishek Thekcham seemed to be someone that Khalid liked, is not there. What happens with Mehtab Singh? Even Manveer. There's a lot of questions to be asked, and therefore for me, and Raj mentions it, Danish Farouk still there. Don't understand that. So therefore, the preparations weren't the best. So I hope that Khalid can somehow swing some magic and we get a result somehow or the other. But I'm somehow hoping that something happens, but I don't know if the hope is the only thing left. So therefore, we are in the situation we are in, right? Mamata Banerjee isn't bothered. Time has changed now. These clubs' influence on election has gone. In 60s, it was not now. Damat Harbour FC is alleged of Abhishek Panel TMC club. So I think, Raj, that's the point. I think that you are mentioning a point that I feel is very, very important, because there is no understanding amongst the football fans, as you say, of the importance of their respective clubs, right? I think it is much, much less than what they think it is. And on the other side, the problem in this whole discussion about about the importance of these clubs is that that Mamata Banerjee has helped these clubs, East Bengal, thrice. And yeah, let's see. Mohammedan Sporting also in some sort of indirect way, but Mohan Bagan, if Mr. Goenka leaves, find it very difficult to find something appropriate with the magnitude of finance that is needed. Do you think it would have been better for AIFF for what it was pre-2017, a 3-month-long tournament auction drafts, rather than becoming a league and top division with I-League being the top? No. I think the transition was clear to being the top division football league. I think, Zoravar, that was clear. I think after 2016 onwards, that is the step that the ISL wanted and needed to take. And to me, our problem is that I think the draft should have been kept in some sort of form way, like in North America, for new players to come in, for young players to come in, sort of a draft system. But otherwise, difficult to say, right? A real test begins on 9th. A loss would mean Singapore go through in all probability, and a win will keep our hopes alive. So yeah, Ishan, the point is we need to win. That is our problem. We need to win, because even if we draw and let's say Hong Kong beat Bangladesh, then Hong Kong is already going to be on 7 points and we are on 2. So for us, I think a draw is not good enough. And therefore, for me, that's the thing. But I don't know where the win will come. I'll be very happy if we win, but I don't know where the win can and somehow come, right? You know about the Fandi brothers? They're one of the most quality internet players Singapore have, especially Iskan, and I think we would be very interested. Yes, Iskan also played in Norway, right? So yeah, very dangerous. Let's wait and see what we can do against those. Is there any companies left in ball? All went to Gujarat, says Raj. Yeah, but some of them still have their offices in Kolkata, but otherwise, yeah, what's left? How tough is Singapore test? It is a very tough test, Murali, because only a win counts. So it is. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what really happens, but it is a tough test for us, yes. And China can, Murali, those are practice matches. So again, I don't know if Bibiano will play his best team or if he was going to try out. Let's see. Frankly, there's no logic in Indian football. Some favorite players of coach are not picked again. Some didn't stand it out on the basis of a few good moments, etc. Is it really good moments, or do you see any logic in that? So yeah. Will you be doing a watch along for the Singapore game? Yes, Ishan mentioned it in the last 2 days in the lives, and also in the preview videos. So watch it. I've done a couple of them already. Yeah, so for me, I would think let's see what happens. Won't it be clear after what's going to happen with us if today's presentation details come out? Suryakan, no. Suryakan, how will you know? Because the point is, we need to know what are the criteria and what are the financials. If there are unrealistic numbers in that, so therefore we'll have to wait and see. Let something come out and then we can have a discussion. The attendance was good back then, including viewership. It was, Zoravar, but again, the league had to grow, the league had to change, and again, marketing spend has been cut to a bare minimum. All of those things are factors. The quality of the game at some stage was okay because we got better quality foreigners, but the quality of Indian players has not improved over the last 6-7 years. Draft like the NBA, yeah, Ishan, somehow we need to figure something of that way out, how to get young players into the system and not just the big clubs, hoarding the young players. Let's hope we can create something from open play. Long throw-in will be easy to predict and hence defend. Yeah. If you want what challenges Singapore, watch Singapore vs Bangladesh match. Exactly, Raj. I think even Bangladesh, after the draw against India, thought, hey, listen, we are now someone, we got something in Shillong, and now we can, try and get towards the Asian Cup. And Singapore, scored 2 goals and won against them. So therefore, at home, I feel I will be very, very careful in seeing how this works. Hi, your view, Cannavaro taking over Uzbekistan feels a bit risky in my opinion. I mean, interesting was that Joachim Löw seemed to be their first target from the Uzbeks. Couldn't get Joachim Löw to sign for them, and then they targeted Fabio Cannavaro. Cannavaro, of course, has coached in China, has coached Guangzhou Evergrande as well, followed up from Marcelo Lippi. It's an interesting one. I'm not sure if it will work because does the style of Cannavaro and does the style of Uzbekistan really fit each other? That would be my question. So it's interesting. It's an interesting one, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. You think over the years, fake pride has taken fans and players think our past is great? Yes, Murali. Yeah, that's a problem. Any update on your handball project, Ishan? Nothing to announce. We're working on certain things. Hopefully, things can be announced by December. I was a little bit more optimistic in the summer, but there are certain things that need to be put in place before certain announcements can be made. Do this money problem is only in India? Have you seen this in Germany, Europe? Raj, money in sports is always a topic because the level of investment has gone up, multiple levels over the last few years. And that's a challenge. That's a huge challenge. And that it can be there as well. I mean, the German clubs are cribbing and saying, hey, listen, there's much more money in the Premier League. So you have a lot, but you don't seem to have enough. And that's the problem. I don't get the Wirtz and Isak hate at all. I feel like it's like the Mbappe hate again, where he was also struggling in the first few games at Madrid, but now all those people have gone real quiet. Swastik, the problem is you want players to come in and immediately, they want them to work immediately. Sometimes it works. I think the counter example would be Voldemade, who's hit the ground running at Newcastle again, and Liverpool. They had a certain setup. It worked for them in the last season perfectly, and now they slot changed a lot of things. I think Luis Diaz is someone that they're missing at the moment. Look at the way that he's playing at Bayern. He's just come in. So sometimes players come in, it works. Sometimes it doesn't. So there are a lot of examples and counter examples. Your prediction, India versus Singapore match, I have no expectations. Roshan, I don't know what to predict. I just only want India to win. I don't have a prediction. So to me, I want India to win. Even if it's a dirty 1-0, I want us to stay alive. But with this team, I don't know. As you say, I don't have any expectations. I will take a win, any win, but I have no expectations. Frankly, FSTL have shown all signs of leaving Indian football. Why can't those in administration read the room and be proactive of what to do now? Ishan, because it's been taken out of their hands. Because the Supreme Court has said, listen, you have to do a tendering process. It's not in the hands of the AIFF. Right? So it's on KPMG to work out with figures and do something. Bihar to inaugurate a 100,000 capacity cricket stadium. I think 5 more 100K cricket stadium are being built. And Zoravar, it shows you the priorities in India in regard to sports infrastructure, right? The day FSTL left Indian football, lost hope, says Raj. What do you think the FF budget needs to be for them to do everything that needs to be done to run Indian football well? If you to do it right, around 200, maybe double the budget that they run on at the moment, around 250 crores, I think would sort the AIFF out to run the leagues properly, their competitions properly, the national teams properly. I think 250 crores, I would think, would be a good figure if they could generate that, but they're nowhere near to generating it. I hope Sunil gets us ahead 1-0 in the first few minutes, then we can relax and watch peak haram football. Yeah, Rishabh, my question would be, can we play peak haram football against a Singapore and get a result? That would be my question. What problem you see why people don't come up to stadium? Also, what could be done? Raj, there are 2-3 things. One, people will tell you, oh, you know what, it's too much of a headache to get to games. I think a level of commitment of coming to the grounds is not there, in my opinion. I said during the last World Cup, I was in Kolkata and there was Mohammedan Sporting was playing, I think, Neroka in the I League. So and I thought, okay, Germany was playing Japan. So actually I was watching Germany-Japan on the phone and I was watching Mohammedan play. So how much are you committed to really watching live matches? So that's the thing. And I think the mentality of the Indian football fan needs to switch, right? If I see, for example, the Mohun Bagan protest today, right, it's good to see that certain. But again, if Mohun Bagan supposedly has crores of fans, why do you have, I don't know, 30, 40 maybe people standing there and protesting, right? Then the numbers need to be bigger. And that is something which is, again, online to write something or to say something on social media is relatively easy, but to physically be there, be present, show your face is something different, in my opinion. What membership model in Monba and Ismail similar to Barca Madrid? Did Ismail ever had their official countable and passed? No. I think at Barca, Madrid, or in German clubs, anyone can become a member. And at Monbaga and East Bengal, not if you want tomorrow to become a member of the two clubs, you can't. Right? So it is a little bit more restrictive. And yes, they have held their officials accountable in the past, but do the officials care really? No, they don't. So, yeah. I think hockey, maybe tennis, a few games we have passed glory, not in football. Yeah. If you want to say that, Murali, yeah, can be said. My biggest concern is that players don't have preseason, no match practice. Raj, we saw that, no? With FC Goa against Istiklal, when I saw the highlights, it was clearly visible that our players were rusty because the players have not played enough football, And so that's that's a huge problem. And again, that's something which you can train, you can play practice matches, you can do this, you can do that. But a proper competitive match can never be replaced by training. And that's a huge problem. Swastik says, I don't get how Gurpreet Singh Sandhu has more subs than this man. It baffles me. You really deserve more. So, okay. Sorry. Swastik. That's Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, and that's, he gets a push from other people as well. Again, I need your help. Guys, grow it, pass it on to people, that we can reach the 3,000 and then grow to the next, to the 4, to the 5, to the 10. And I need your support. And therefore, like my videos, share my videos, write about it, tweet about it, tag it on Instagram, put it out there. I need your support. Without your support, I will not be able to grow. And I thank you, those of you who regularly come here, interact, ask your questions, put your viewpoints out. I love this interaction platform, right? So therefore, keep on doing this. And again, we need to grow, and I need your help for this. Without your support, it will not be possible. AIFF has money to pay KPMG, Raj. I think so, and I think the AIFF and KPMG. I guess KPMG also needs to do the tendering process, right, to be able to generate the revenues to pay itself. Most probably, yeah. I know hope is a very dangerous thing, but after watching Indian football and Man United for years, I think I can deal with it again. Oh, Rishabh, yeah, that's tough. Budget resources, people who justify because we have less. That's why we perform for now. Right. It's not about budget. There are other parts of the world, and it's there are other parts of the world which have even less. how far system has impact on player development? A lot, Murali, because the system helps you to grow or not to grow, but it's also on the individuals if you want to grow or not to grow. The problem is that in India, everyone is happy, so yeah, that's the thing. If only my salary was more than 6 lakhs, I would go alone for a qualifier game. Meanwhile, my shameless Ronaldo fanboy friends talk about going to go even if their pockets are tight. Rushabh, but that's the problem, right? That's the problem. The reality is those are realities, right? So therefore, for me, I don't know how we can change this. The price for the Messi in Kolkata is supposed to be rupees 3,500 per head. Yes, Robert, I think someone else, and it's something of that. Any difference you see politics running federation in India and abroad? Really, politics is there, but it is different in India. It's there. Look at the whole Malaysia situation with illegal integration. That's the thing. Almost 3K subscribers. You can at least bank on those 3,000 to actually do their own thinking, gain knowledge from you, and not fall for theatrics. Ishan, yes, but I don't think that everybody will do that. That all of them will be, but I guess if I read some of you and some of you start thinking, understand, gain knowledge, ask questions, going around, then I've been successful at least to some extent, and that's the challenge that I have here. So therefore, I need your help. Mohun Bagan Supergiant, be like Chloe Kelly. The first time was so nice, you had to do it twice. Yeah, but in her case, it was positive, and Mohun Bagan's case, it was negative. Mr. Bajaj's interview said bringing Messi cost is 150 crore, but if you give it to me, I will produce chain of players, invest in grassroots and big YouTubers and football creators praising. Yeah, this is... Raj, that's the problem, right? No, sorry, Ranjit, you will not be producing those players if the money is given to you, because look at your track record if you have, So for me, it's easy to say, if that money was available, we will do this, we will do that, because the example around the world is, look at how much money Qatar has been spending. Look at how much money the Chinese have been spending. It's not about money. It's about having the right people in the right places doing the right things. And we don't have that in Indian football. And that's the problem. Today's stream is highly depressing. As on our sadly it is, because Mohun Bagan is a disaster. Indian football is a disaster. And the national team, we don't know where it stands, right? So for me, it's an issue. Welcome to those realities, right? Welcome to those realities. So I think you should hire a professional editor. The video looks monotonous and boring. You need to add more graphics, etc. Utsav, I should hire a professional. I don't make money out of this, right? This is my spare time. This is fun. So if you think that this is a commercial venture, it is everything but that. So yeah. I think if you collab with Talk Football HT or Drogo, you could get huge boosts, as Utsav. Yeah. And Raj says, see, that's the problem. How far Japan grown over the years in football? You see beating France in 20 World Cup. Really, Japan is a biggie in Asian football. Under 20 World Cup, most of the teams can beat each other, right? Yep, I've been suggesting to do stream with Ashwini Gedana too when Talk Football, they have good subscribers. Yeah, Zoravar, but yeah, I need to find a time to talk and discuss, and we need to do that. Do you see Sandesh starting? Yes, I do see Sandesh Chingan starting. I think Sandesh should be one of the key players on Thursday for the Indian team. I think Sandesh Chingan got a few minutes last week in the AFC Champions League 2. Is going to be a key player for us. So for me, yeah. Do you play FIFA mobile or eFootball, anything? Swastik, I used to play FIFA when I was younger, but somehow at some stage I gave up playing these games So no, I don't play esports at the moment. Do you think China has resources but not right ingredients? Yes. What Uzbekistan done right compared to China because both went through development? Morally, you can't compare. Uzbekistan has been working on things. Uzbekistan has a certain level of Russian influence. Uzbekistan, to me, have been the underperformers of Asian football. I've said this many times in the past that to me, Uzbekistan deserves to be amongst the best in the world, but they've not been able to do it, achieve it, and yeah, those are the realities. There was news a fake Pakistan football team caught in Japan. Yeah, Roshan, I read that as well. I found that hilarious that a team could get away and travel to Japan and then only there get caught and say, hey, listen, guys, you're actually not a football team. Crazy to think, but yeah, those kind of things happen in today's world. Would having a big scouting program in the age group level solve our issues? No. Tobo, what are you going to scout for? If the talent is not there, what are you scouting for? We need to develop our players better, So therefore, that's very, very important that we, at grassroots and at youth level, actually create the platforms. So therefore, that's very, very important, right? So therefore, for me, yeah, we need to work on a lot of things, and yeah, that's what we need to do. Do you think certain player injury killed them, like Rafael Varane? Yeah, well, that's life, right? There's a lot of players whose career was cut short due to injuries. It happens, sadly, but it happens. Apuya Thapa not in squad. Raj, I have no clue why not. And that's the problem because there's no proper press conference with the AIFF, right? There is no why is this player in, why is that player out? Nobody knows. And and so I don't know. It's a weird one at the moment going on. Again, at all levels, yeah, we've been very, very negative today, but it's like where will the positivity come from, right? AIFF, we don't know. ISL, we don't know. National team, nobody knows why, who, when, where. Mohun Bagan Super Giant, Odisha FC looks like shut down. Other teams are not training. That's what's happening. Nobody knows. Is the Super Cup actually happening? So we're stuck. This is a very weird cycle. I want to get out of it. I want us to talk about the future, good things, transfers. Yeah, let's see. Mohun fans abused Ashish during protest. Why to abuse players? Question management. Raj, you can abuse whoever you want to. Does it make sense? No, very often it doesn't. And yes, I agree with you. It's the management who needs to ask, but also the players. I would have liked to ask Shubhashi, said, what was your supposed social media post? What was it about? What happened to FIFA Academy? So now it's happening. If you're expecting results tomorrow, that will not happen, right? Whose fault is it not creating proper sports ecosystem in running football? Is the federation head or player recruited? Morally, everybody in the system. It is not the head or it's not the player. It's the people in between. It's the people on top in the governments, in the bureaucracy. Everyone has their share of the problems that we face. Shavik Chakraborty promoting AIFF FIFA Academy. Good for him. Wow, yeah. Any update on OCI? Oh, Dwayne the Rock or Rock Dwayne. No, sadly nothing. At the moment, we discussed the National Sports Governance Bill, which has become the National Sports Governance Act. But it only said, interact with the diaspora, but it didn't say anything about OCI players. So no. How many quality coaches would we need to produce a good enough pool of domestic talent? Tobo, there is no fixed number. You could say it might work with 50. Then someone else will say, oh, we need 200. Maybe we need 1,000. Maybe we need 5,000. It depends how big the program is and what kind of, network are you creating. The more, the merrier. If you've got good quality youth coaches, I'm not saying senior level coaches who drop down the system. No, we need good youth level coaches. If we get that, then we can talk about the rest. And that's where we're struggling at the moment. We're struggling at multiple levels because, that's very, very difficult to figure out how we're going to get here, there, where. It is where it is how it is, right? 1 hour, 20 minutes. So that means 80 minutes of this live on this Tuesday evening. Like, share, and subscribe. 20 likes so far. Thank you very much. As always, share with other people. And if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. So we're just very, very close. We're at 2,999 at this moment as I speak. So one more, and then for the first time at least, this channel will achieve the 3,000 mark. But again, I give it 2-3 days, and then it stabilizes hopefully above that mark. And yeah, do watch the short videos, support the channel, hype videos, spread it out to other people. I need your support as always. Who's the next big striker in German football, age below 20, in your opinion? Oh, there are a few players. At Bayern, you've got very young 16-year-old Wisdom Mike, who's an interesting one. Winger, but attacking winger. It was Trisoldo, playing at Club Brugge at the moment in Belgium, who could play for Germany or Italy. Playing for that German under-21s could be another one should look at. Yeah. I think in hockey, India still not conquered the Europe because we lost closely with Germany. Yeah. And morally, India's amongst the best, but is India the best? No, that's then the Germany-Netherlands conversation. Yeah. If you talk about grassroots coaches, they demand a good amount of money. There is the somehow restriction. Raj, you know what? Grassroots coaches around the world actually, don't earn anything. They just get their costs covered. That is grassroots around the world. Grassroots is community work, charity work. Why we don't produce tennis stars like we had past? Well, because those individuals work themselves up. Leander, I know from personal interactions what he's achieved. Mahesh Bhupati, Rohan Bopanna, Sania Mirza, all of them, even earlier, the Amrit Raj, Ramanathan Krishnan, Ramesh Krishnan, individual achievements. Your take on Johan Benjamin getting selected in Enka Bravo squad for the AIFF Youth League games against Porto. Superpower of the lad. It's time to see more talents like this coming up. Swastik, let him achieve something at senior level. This is big for him. But if he doesn't make it at the top, again, there are a lot of players who have played at this level who never make it as a professional. We've got a lot of them, a lot of these ex-Real Madrid, Barcelona academy players playing in the Indian system. If he doesn't make it as a senior level player, then this is a nice conversation, but he would have not reached anything. What are the areas you find political spillover taking place in football in recent times? They say don't involve politics with game. Is it difficult? Really, how this current AIFF was created 3 years ago had political influence in it. So yeah, and then you have a president who is linked to a party. Vice President Harris linked to another party, and so therefore, let's see. North Korea has unpolished diamond. Okay, morally. In India, grassroots is a source of money. Yeah, Raj, that's the problem. There you found, no? It's not community work. We don't think about the community. In India, everybody cares about them. Not everybody, but a lot of people care about themselves. That is what is the big difference to us in Europe, Do we have the proper coach education for creating good coaches at all levels? Yes, we have. The theory, yes. But in practicality, no. Because the coaches, you learn something in India, you are doing the courses to pass the courses, not to learn and then grow. I'm generalizing, but a lot of coaches do that, right? But there are others, we need more, Why do you think the top academies in the country couldn't produce good enough players? Is it budget or simply have some other goals? I don't think budgets. Budgets is never the issue. The issue is, to me, is the level of talent, the level of coaching, the level of competition. Those are the problems in India. And let's not even get infrastructure and all those things. I don't think is not my problem. You often mention certain sports. Who cares despite when you mention chess, other sports? Yeah, who cares? Again, if India was playing Pakistan, the weekend before, or I don't know how many times they played India-Pakistan, does the rest of the world care? No. Does anybody care how the matches in the NFL went in North America? No. This is, there are sports which are of interest to a certain demographics of a certain place or country, and the rest of the world doesn't care. You know what happened with Gurpreet Singh Sandhu in Norway, why he came back? He got a great offer from Bangalore FC at the time. He went to BFC because they offered him a lot of money. Hi, Manmohan. You see Monbagan Super Giant fan storm at the Aussie players. It's getting viral. If the cops wouldn't have turned up, they might have got trashed. Manmohan, no. Yes, I've seen it, but the way you are, I don't think it was that kind of a situation. If I see it, there were discussions going on between the players and the fans, and the police actually made matters worse because they made it actually volatile. So there was no need for the police to step in and say, hey, listen, you get into the car and just drive off, get away, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, there was an interaction happening. Was it happening in the best possible way? No, we've discussed this in the last 86, 87 minutes. But yeah, again, and this is the danger of, the way you are showing it, it just looks like as if they've chased them and they were threatening them, whatever. It wasn't. And therefore, it happened the way it happened. It wasn't perfect. Let's put it this way. But I think it's not bad for the players also to get a little bit of a verbal tonic from the fans and understand what the fan mood and opinion is. How can we improve youth coaching? Is bring coaches from abroad and pay 6-8 lakhs per month the only way? But that could be a way. But point is, do we have the competitions? Do we have the talent? Do we have all of that? I think we need to develop. If you're going to bring in coaches, I know coaches who've worked in India and who've left, foreigners who are actually quite cheap, even cheaper than sometimes the Indians, but much better, because they said, listen, there is nothing to work with. That is the problem. Kira Rai facing racism reacts with hat-trick. Fantastic. Yeah, Roshan, great to see her score a hat-trick for Peterborough United. Kira Rai, Indian origin footballer in the United Kingdom. Huge, as I always say, with players of origin, and especially in the UK, it is an issue of racism why Indians are not playing professional football. And Kira, sadly, is one of those who's affected by it. Has politics affected open football like federation? People are quite important posts because we often admire them. Yeah, of course. Politicians have been involved in that. India is a low trust society. So now very true. Low trust society, and I think a lot of Indians don't want to do something for society. They, again, as I say, it might sound a bit harsh, but they care about themselves. Do you think Tata produced far better player compared to today? Yes, morally they did. Tata Football Academy produced much better players. How's the level of AIFF CBA license compared to European UEFA standard? How can we match the coaching license quality at par with UEFA? The license is not the problem because the theory is the same. It's be it UEFA, be it AFC, be it CAF in Africa, CONCACAF in North America, CONMEBOL in South America, or Oceania. It's the same. It's about how you're implementing it, how you're working on those things, and that's where we're struggling at the moment massively. Just a doubt, since FIFA bans for administrative failure of AIFF, why can't they step in to correct on ground level? Manmohan, they don't have the manpower. How do you think that FIFA will come with 200, 500,000 people and say, listen, we'll sort out Indian football? It doesn't work that way. FIFA bans the national federation. If the national federation is at fault, or individuals are at fault, or let's say government or court interventions in the case. If you ask player production, Bengal should be questioned first. What our state has done, no Bengali players calling Bose pride of Bengal. Yeah, that's the problem. Because a lot of fans of football in Bengal will always come back and talk about Mohun Bagan and East Bengal's success and not understand that their success has been built on players coming from other parts of the country and other parts of the world. Which country has glorious football history in past but right now over in picture? Hungary would be an example. What Kolkata clubs have produced in last decade? Raj, nothing. Per se, you can say nothing. So sad to see India Hockey League facing problems. Murai, it was clear. The concept doesn't work. It is built on money which you don't have. So, that's the reality. Yeah. So that's it. If you compare state-wise football demand, then Maharashtra stand in which number, boss, Shukanto, I wouldn't be able to, give a ranking of how football is ranked, very difficult because would be a subjective opinion, man. Sorry. Have you faced racing mode? Yeah, Raj, of course. Not really here in Germany, but I remember faced it in the UK a few times over the years. Yeah. AIFF has the overall control of football activities, so do they have a cut in any telecast deals of domestic or global? If FIFA bans entire games are forfeit, so why not stop all views during ban? So AIFF has nothing to do with any FIFA or AFC licenses or Premier League or Bundesliga or Champions League licenses. Those are all, between the respective federation, league, confederation or global body and the broadcaster or the OTT platform. So no, they have nothing. And what has the games to do? Nothing on that front. Money is the issue, so why not? Why would I pay the AIFF if I'm wanting to broadcast around the World Cup in India? What has the AIFF to do with the FIFA World Cup broadcast in India? I go to a broadcaster, right? He will give me the money. Can Kira represent Indian national team? Yes, Zoravar, she is, through her roots, eligible to represent India. When people complain infrastructure, India nearly 70% of our pitches, Nigeria don't despite they play high level. Really, it is not infrastructure which is a problem. It is coaching, it is competitions, it is coaching. That is our bigger problem. That is for me the bigger issue in Indian football. If we don't improve our coaching, if we don't improve our level of competitiveness, we will not get there where we want and where we need to be. What made hockey better? Because we have very few nations in Asia competing. And so what makes the difference? Munali, forget Asia. How many nations really take hockey seriously? What? Even Pakistan doesn't take it seriously anymore. So you've got India and Asia. You've got what? Germany, Netherlands. If you want to put Great Britain in it, now you'll put maybe Belgium and Spain into the mix. Maybe South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and you're done. Yeah. So that's the thing. Hockey is not played by too many countries. Our problem is we cry for infra, but in reality we have everything we need. Yes, Raj. Very good point. You raise a point which I've said multiple times, which certain people don't like to hear. I've said it quite often. I said, listen, guys, the problem, that if you're able to play on a bad ground, if you're able to learn your football on a bad pitch, if you get better facilities, you should be a better footballer then, right? Because you can adopt, right? So therefore, this infrastructure, thing I don't buy it, if you ask me. If budget is an issue, why the top academies do not have top level coaches employed? Togo, some of them have top level coaches. They're not producing. So therefore, it's the whole thing, Off-topic question, why India is portrayed negative way as people live both sides, or else social media India not for business? India is not portrayed negative. Morally, there are realities which in India people don't want to accept. There are issues and problems, right? And we don't want to accept it when it comes to India. When I look Kenya, they produce marathons but lack of resources. Morali, you would have said lack of resources, I think 20, 25, 30 years ago, but even Kenya has now resources in regard to its long distance running, or Jamaica has resources for the short distance runners. So therefore, you have something or the other, but the resources is not always your deciding factor. It is talent, it is desire, it is will. All these things are key factors if you want to be successful. So for me, very important for us. Ochut says, right now, in my opinion, the most pressing problem is the bid document, and getting an entity to invest entire Indian football system is dependent on that. Ochut, 100%. Yeah. And so therefore, and let me once more check social media if there's been any statement by anyone on this matter, because I've not seen anything today so far. Yeah. So And so therefore, it's yeah. Still nothing out there. So there's no news so far. Sorry. Generally, what you feel in cricket is all passionate at a certain level in cricket. Scout talent pool is big. They have inside regionally. Why not in football? They aren't paid well unless they pick. Manmohan, where is scouting and this and that happening in cricket? Cricket is glorified in India, but it is not the way that people want to sell me cricket this, that, cricket that. No, it's not. To me, it's not, and therefore, we can talk about this, we can talk about that, but there is, yeah, it, it's difficult. In Japan and Korea. Hi, Ammo, welcome back. I'm good. Will ISL happen this year? So, Kiran, I don't know. Anybody who says that the ISL will happen does not know, you know. And at the moment, I don't even. Again, the bid document is still not out, right? There's no information on that AIFF meeting, which is very interesting because normally someone or the other would have said something, or something would have been out. There is no piece of information out there, not even a tiny bit of speculation, which is interesting. So why FC doesn't launch tournament like UEFA Youth League where top teams, U18 play with each other? It's of the complexities of Asia and the difficulty to put something like that together. It's like the same discussion people have had about a Nations League, which the AFC should organize. Again, don't compare Europe with Asia. Even other things have taken longer than in other parts of the world. The African players even play with boots, which is a thrown by European countries. Raj, they sometimes play barefoot, even today, right? Or some things which just cover their feet. I think 100% India is way better than that. But again, we are not producing. I feel if AIFF had a budget, they would have been greedy to run the league irrespective of unprofessional it is. No, Manmohan. That's again, the AIFF is not about it's not only about the money part, it's about also about management, right? That's I think the big problem. If at all ISL happens, can be completed by May 31st. So Kiran, I see somehow a shortened ISL being played. I don't think a full ISL can be played by May 31st. FC Goa opposed the fine imposed by AFC on them, gave proper explanation, not like a legacy club. Yeah, let's see what happens. I think AFC Champions League 2 like tournament with U17 attendant teams will benefit everyone. Nobody's talking about a U23, even U18 AFC. AFC sometimes not happening. Hyder FC has officially relocated Delhi, now waiting for Odisha FC. Yeah, that's one. The next Odisha FC, are they relocating or are they shutting down? We have not good reputations for Special Olympics. We produce more CEO and corporate and tech people and entrepreneurs. Yes, Murali. IPL teams does most of the scouting these days, says Tobo. Where was Sporting Club Delhi play? I hope they play in Ambedkar Stadium. Association needs a renovation. Best to experience fans. Raj, we spoke about it yesterday. You know, the Ambedkar Stadium is not ready for top level football. So, there's supposedly knocked down and rebuilt, and that has still not happened. So, as long as that is not done, I think it's not an alternative per se for Sporting Club Delhi or any other team as well. Do you think everyone tried to copycat IPL model but failed terrible? Yes, Murali, that is the problem because people think that the IPL model is the only model. Uh, um, so yeah, so therefore that's the thing. Thoughts on Ranjit Bajaj? Suryakiran, the less I say, the better. It's surprising to see Baichung so quiet. It's like he's waiting for the core officials to break and take charge through re-elections. Baichung has said what he had to say a few weeks ago, and I don't see him taking charge in any way. But again, I might be totally wrong. Oh, no, I'm not aware. Is Super League scheduled conflict National League commitment for qualifiers? No, it's not. Didn't Lalit Modi say a few days back that football will never be a popular sport in India? Zorawari said it many years back, and that's a very old comment of his. I think that comment is, 10, 12 years old. And that has somehow, for whatever reasons, reappeared, and he's also made that comment again. We always question AIFF, what about state level, district level? In my point of view, it's more problematic. Not state level, district level, the clubs, academies, everybody needs to be questioned. Everybody in the ecosystem needs to be questioned. Saw some news of 64 team World Cup with 4 countries hosting 2030 onwards, co-hosting with them for any global sporting event given the socioeconomic scenario, but 64 teams is too much. It was because of the anniversary 100 years of FIFA World Cup, but I don't think 64. The World Cup will be played three games in South America, in Argentina, Colombia, and Uruguay, and then the tournament shifts to Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. Is there any ACL youth tournament like AIFF Youth Cup? No, there is not. What about what's happening to ISL tender? PC Game Attack, there's nothing. There's supposed to be some info coming out today, but so far, no news, Can you do separate video on CAS? What are the sports they're not involved? Morally, everything CAS, every sport, they can be involved. Yeah. One thing you like about English Premier League and don't like about it. English Premier League, I like the way that they produce the product, they market the product. One thing which I felt when I watched live matches is, again, maybe biased, but I feel that the atmosphere in Germany is better than in England. Ambedkar Stadium in 2008-10 period was pretty nice when we won the Nehru Cup and then no maintenance. Achut, it was not even nice then. I did the Duran Cup in 2006 over there and they did some, they just painted the whole thing. They didn't do anything. They didn't do much. If you wanted to go to toilets, go early on, do not go later on, right? I think AFC U17 Asian Cup is the only youth tournament. What's up? We're talking about clubs. I think that's the point, right? Therefore, people, lack of interest also matters, especially developing sports. Well, it can be said. Do we have youth leagues above U15? Yes, we have the U18 youth league. A live stream between you and Bajab will break Indian football fan internet. So now we're no worth having that conversation. Have you ever thought football is going to be my career path in childhood or no idea? Well, no, it happened, right? It happened. I didn't plan it. I didn't strategize it. As I say, it just happened. Yeah, exactly, Raj. Why can't ASA be playing random Asian teams always East-West? Because of travels. Manmohan, there is Asia is sorry. Um, so therefore, that's how they've structured it because the travels. Think about, I don't know, someone from Eastern Australia having to travel to Jordan, Lebanon, yeah, maybe Beirut. Don't even know how long that route would be. Anupam, did you saw the fans arguing Moman, Supergiant, Aussie players, you're taking petrol, slapping the phone of a fan? Anupam, yes, I saw it. I give Jason Cummings credit, trying to speak to the players, with the fans, sorry. He tried to get into a conversation which I found very interesting, but I felt that what he was saying, you know, that the communication was going past each other, right? The fans at a certain point, and the problem is if you're trying to tell these football, oh, you know, this is legacy, this is not everything. Listen, they're pros. If you give them $5 more or €5 more, they will go somewhere else, right? That's the reality, right? So this whole legacy and history and blah 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 point of the fans makes no sense to tell to a professional player, right? This is something that in Kolkata people in today's professional football needs to learn. That's the first thing. Second thing is Jason Cummings was trying to get a point over there. We want to travel, but again, there is an advisory. There's that, you know, and. And so therefore that's that, and Petratos to me didn't want to get into the conversation. And is he right to do it, to stab someone's phone or a fan? No, he's not. But yeah, is it right from the fan to hold the phone in his face? Again, can be questioned as well. So interesting interaction, but again, some people suggested, oh, you know, they should have done a press conference. No, Mohun Bagan Supergiant don't want to do a press conference because they can't answer the questions at the moment. You know. So yeah, savior win in football, yeah, but not happening. At the end of the day, if you don't win games, sports don't grow. That's football here. If you need money support, you got to win sideline through the ecosystem. No, Manmohan. The problem is it's not about winning. You need to support a sport to be able to grow, because in the mid to long term, the results will come. If you're expecting results and then for the investment to come, and that's the failure of Indian sport, it doesn't work. Off topic, what's your age? My age is 48, Raj. Why Brazil don't have bigger league like English Premier League or Bundesliga by champions of money? Morally, South America, the leagues are not as strong as in Europe. The infrastructure and everything involved in it is not there. With the Aussie players at Mohun Supergiant, we can't fault them. It's up to Mohun Bagan Supergiant board. They couldn't send an all-Indian squad what's there to lose. PC Gamer Tag, that's the point, right? Yeah, it is for the board to answer, but who's going to ask? Northeast is more football fans than why Messi is not coming to Northeast instead of Delhi. Shugan, it has nothing to do with money, with fans or how many fans. Delhi is the capital. He will meet the Prime Minister. There is more money. It's not about football fans. It's about, again, if you're a football fan, you have to travel to meet Lionel Messi, right? Do you think handling money and fame way because it turned to objectives and goals? Money and fame is always, certain people can handle it, certain people can't. That's in life. Could you propose some of the shorter formats ASL can adopt for this season? Sir Kiran, I think one would be to do a one-leg league and expand into into maybe a bigger playoff system. One would have to see, or maybe play one round with all, and then certain number of matches against some of the teams. It depends also how many teams are going to be in the league. Are we playing a 12-team league, 13-team league, 14-team league? Nobody knows, right? And first of all, are we having an ISL or having a new tournament? There's so many basic questions that aren't answered that, that's very, very difficult. So if we slip to ACL 3, how much further can we go through in that tournament in this quarterfinal? Utsav, we are at the moment at a level where even that is difficult. So that's one thing to see. I just hope this month brings some sort of positive Indian football. We really need it during this current situation. Swastik, at the moment, we have to get through the difficult ones. Let's see. Has FIFA referee held accountable? Yeah, they are accountable, So, but again, there will be discussions. Mohun Bagan fans need to move out of the past. Legacy is over. It's just current performance that matters. It's mockery of the club with all that's going on. Yeah, Manmohan, rightly said. That is very, very rightly said. When is the FIFA ban deadline? Date 30th of October, Zoravar. I agree with Mohammed. Supergiant fans must be more outcome So, yeah. Even Mumbai City FC played with all Indian squad. Yeah, Raj, very, very true. What is wrong with Bengali football creators and news channels? What they're doing, fake thumbnails, trying to provoke people. Raj, that's their selling point, right? It's not about being honest and rightful. Otherwise, they would do things differently. That's the whole problem of the ecosystem. In about It's about PR, nothing else. Modi will probably take photo with Messi, and then Messi will say PM instead, blah blah. Yeah, so again, that's why he sent him a jersey the other day on his birthday, right? Any opinion in youth players finally moving out like Slovenia? Is it start of a new era where the change is starting? Like baby steps to giant strides. Malmohan, let's see what it happens. The players are going out, which is it's good, but if they don't really make it at senior level, then these baby steps are worth nothing. In Brazil, people are universally in support of Aussie players because of how the club management made these players the scapegoat for not traveling. AFC banning Mohamed Subin for 2 years plus. Can AFC do the same? AIFF has nothing to do with the ban because it's a continental ban, and that's one. And again, the Aussie players or Scottish players, yeah, the management threw them under the bus. That's true, but I think they could have traveled if they wanted to, and if they didn't want to, they should have said it 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, right? And not in the last moment. Your thoughts on Shaji Prabhakaran? Shurikan, it was me that I gave him first chance at that time at IndianFootball.com to make So yeah, but could have done more, but couldn't achieve it. Messi gets money, organizes, and in football is nothing, so stay out of it. Raj, it is not about Indian football. So anyone who thinks that these Messi trips, if Argentina comes and plays, and if Messi comes and plays, has nothing to do with Indian football. Yeah. Why is Mohamed Sohail not playing? Because he's not good enough, Vagabond. He's not good enough to be playing in the senior national team. He's not good enough to be in the squad. That's our problem, right? Because he's played good for the under-23s doesn't mean he's good enough for the senior national team. It'll be absolutely, we'll go into the Singapore game with the same ultra defensive mentality, try to play that haram ball or whatever like we did in that Afghanistan game. Trusting we're going to play that. If you think anything else is happening, yeah, it's not happening. If we can't compete with clubs from Laos, Cambodia, Bangladesh, any clubs doesn't even deserve to play in ASL3 set of stuff. Yeah, but did we beat teams from Turkmenistan, Tajikistan? I fear Manisha is coming back to IWL. No news from her, and women's leagues started and already running. Yeah, that's sad, but again, most probably she will earn more money in India than she would in Europe. Mohun Bagan lost to Basundara Kings. What to expect? Yeah, that's not only them. Others, Odisha also lost. Ishaj and Malayali, yes, Roshani is. General public thinks this will boost football in India. Yeah. Good night, Raj. And yeah, we're slowly coming to an end. 1 hour and 54 minutes. Once more, the reminder, please like, share, and subscribe to arunfoot here on YouTube. Help grow it. 21 likes on this video. Share with other people to be able to watch it, and subscribe if you're a new listener or watcher. We stand at 2,999 at this moment in time. So hopefully today or tomorrow, the 3,000 mark will be crossed. And Thursday, I'll be doing a live watch along. So waiting for that. Update on Super League Kerala. Vagabond, it's on, right? I've actually honestly not had time to follow it. So yeah, hope to catch up on that. There is no ISL bidder at the moment. How do you see a separate I-League tender? Anupam, if an ISL doesn't work, how will the I-League work? I think that answers your questions. That's the problem. I saw Indians mocking Pakistan and that Messi is coming in India, not Pakistan. Indian football will now improve and qualify World Cup in 5 years. And that tells you the intelligence of these people or the lack of intelligence. When you come to India again, how is handball project going? I hope in the next 4 to 6 weeks I should be back in India, and yeah, handball hopefully. Then the next time I'm in India, we have something to announce. Mohun Bagan, we conquer the field, but only within safe borders. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad. What Mohun Bagan has done is a tragedy for themselves and a tragedy for Indian football, and it's disappointing to see that this institution, and let's call it what it is. It is an institution, in my opinion, doing this. Very, very sad, very, very poor. But that's it. Gute Nacht, good night. Tomorrow evening, preview, India versus Singapore, Singapore versus India. And corruption issues, I don't know, too big a question. I still hope in these two games we can really step up and deliver in these two must-win. But you're right, said that India, you never know what you're going to get though. Yeah, that's the problem. And catch you later. And Utsav, yeah, handball league is amongst the plans, but grassroots and youth handball is the first step to be taken. So that's going to be the key work at the start. So last time for tonight. Thank you for joining in. This is Unawar Chaudhary signing off. Like, share, and subscribe. Arunfoot here on YouTube. Like my videos, hype my videos, support me. We're one short of the 3,000. So help me get over that mark and let's get more people part of our community and conversation. Thanks and good night.